Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Praise Party Radio Show. Listen, when we watched the Clark Sisters movie last week, there was a lot of emotions that came out of that movie, and it was to church folks. But it wasn't to my generation. It was to the older generation who came before us. I put a post out during the movie, and I said, looking at all this, my generation would have never survived that type of church back in the day. We would have rebelled so much. Like, just hearing, let's go all the way back. Let's go back to, in the movie, let's go to when they got in trouble for performing at the Grammys for some odd reason. The bylaws and the guidelines of being Christian back then, the females couldn't wear makeup, no jeans, couldn't be out. You had to pretty much consult with everybody to do something. It's crazy stuff. The next day, my mom called me. We had this conversation. And she was like, man, yeah, like, this is stuff we had to endure back in the day. Like, not, like, having a note to not do PE in school. Like, some people not playing sports. And then I went live, and some people were saying they weren't allowed to go to the movies. They weren't allowed to go bowling. It was just strictly church. You love God. You go home. I guess you go to work, you go to school, and then you go to church. So I think the generation before us, I'm saying this, I think they are so scarred from everything that transpired back then that it's hard to get into the new way of doing church. And not even the new way of doing church is just having freedom of nobody telling you what to do. Nobody telling you when to move. Nobody telling you how to move from your spiritual leaders. It was crazy just to see all of that back then. And I'm 29. And I was born in 91. And so I say being a 90s baby, I caught the tail end of all this. Because sometimes I wasn't allowed to go places. But mainly because I was kind of defiant anyway. Let my parents tell you. But it would be sometimes that I would ask, like, Dad or Mama, like, can we go to the skating ring? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I think it's not because they didn't want us to go. Sometimes it was because they were so drenched and enriched in that culture, in that old church traditional culture, that they didn't know how to deal with. So they can actually do this and still be a Christian. If that makes sense. It's just crazy how many rules, all in all, it's crazy how many rules and regulations people had on other people. One of the things I got from that movie was, it's so crazy how people live their life for 10, 20 plus years to actually, quote unquote, please God, but you're pleasing man. So that generation lived their life for 10 plus years living under guidelines and rules, under man-made rules, just to please them. Which is crazy, and I still can't believe. And it's like, because our way of thinking now is like so far advanced from that. And I just can't, I to this day, I still just can't believe that happened. And just thinking about, like I said, thinking about how, if those rules were still in place today, and not even really man-made rules trying to keep people in check. That's just me. That's my opinion. But these man-made rules to keep people in check, like, what if they were still trying to do that today? Like, why are we telling people what they can't do, what they can't wear, where they can't go? we've had free reigns over our decisions and our choices for a while now, and just to even think that somebody of religious, and not just Christianity, but all around, somebody of religious stature would tell you what you have to do to be pleasing God, as far as your appearance and your just everything that falls under that. Now, do we need to have some type of order? Yes, we do. I will always say that we do, and I never go against what the Bible says, because if we're Christian, that's our instruction manual for our everyday living. But to have man-made rules to dictate what you do and everything of that sort, it's crazy. And I think they are so scarred to the point where it kind of got on us, but we kind of broke out of it, because that's not God. That's just me. Just doing traditional and religious stuff is just not of God. I believe our God is the God of the extraordinary. And if our God does the extraordinary, why would he continue to put shackles on you and chains on you to live your life in a dull, mundane type of way? That's just my opinion. But I just want to know, what do y'all think of this? Listen, you get back with me now, and you tell me this, and so we can have this conversation, or we can keep this going. It's Jeff Will. Let's get back into this music. It's the Praise Party Radio Show. Let's go.